Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into my official college football week 9 top 20 bold predictions where I predict random things that I think are going to happen for college football here in week number 9. Beginning with Penn State giving Ohio State a big scare. Now, guys, I just feel like Penn State matches up with Ohio State really well. They've got a really good secondary. They're at home. Sean Clifford's a veteran. He's been playing better. C.J. Stroud. You know, if I'm Penn State, I'm blitzing early and often. I'm hitting him early. When he gets uncomfortable on the road, that spells trouble for Ohio State. And Ohio State's short yardage running game has really been an issue. They had, 30 carries for 66 yards against Iowa. They were shut down. They were not getting movement by their offensive line. I believe Penn State can keep this game competitive like they normally do. They normally play Ohio State really close and give Ohio State a scare. I am thinking that Ohio State will win this game, but not cover the 15.5 point spread. Penn State matches up really well with the Buckeyes, in my opinion. Next, we've got TCU staying unbeaten in a high-scoring game at West Virginia. So, guys, I do think West Virginia's offense will bounce back at home after their really bad performance last week against Texas Tech. This is a noon game. These Big 12 noon games tend to be shootouts. I think this is no different. TCU is always involved in close-scoring games. They are still undefeated, and I believe they'll stay undefeated. They'll get a big win on the road. Close game, high scoring, but TCU gets it done. Number 3, Tennessee offense struggles a bit. They beat Kentucky by 6. So yeah, guys, I've been telling everyone, take the under 63.5 in this game. That's too big of a number. Kentucky is a team coming off a bye with a healthier Will Levis. They want to run the ball. They play good defense. Tennessee, they beat Alabama. It was a huge win. They crush UT Martin. Now they're looking ahead next week at Georgia. They've got to focus on this game. I think their offense, they've been playing so well. Maybe they come back down to earth a little bit against a good defense and a good, defensive-minded team who wants to ball control. It's a lower scoring game. I'm thinking Tennessee wins this maybe 27-21, maybe 30-21, something along those lines. But people are going to be a little bit surprised at Tennessee's offense maybe being neutered a little bit at home. Number 4, Miami beats Virginia. So right now, Miami 2-point favorites. And guys, it just feels like the narrative is Miami is dead. They suck. Normally when that narrative, permeates the media, the team that's getting pounded on comes back and wins. So, Miami's got more talent than Virginia. Virginia's been such a disappointment. I think they win and cover the 2-point spread. Rutgers, Minnesota combined for 30 points. Guys, I'm thinking Minnesota wins this game maybe 20-10, maybe 23-7, something like that. Rutgers cannot score, but they can play decent defense, and Minnesota simply cannot throw the ball. Combine the fact that this game is being played at a weird time, 2:30 in the afternoon. It's probably going to be pretty cold weather in Minneapolis, cloudy skies. Yeah, I'm just not seeing many points at all generated in that matchup. Number 6, UCF handles Cincinnati at home. So UCF with the, surprising loss at East Carolina. I think it was an aberration game. They will be better. They will feed off their home crowd. Cincinnati, I've got so much respect for Luke Fickell and what they've built with that program. But guys, remember, it's still a rebuilding year for Cincinnati. They lost so much talent. UCF might actually be the more talented team and the more, high potent offense with potentially more explosive plays coming into this matchup. I see UCF feeding off the crowd, feeding off the energy. This is a huge, matchup in the American Conference. They probably would have hosted game day if they would have beaten East Carolina. They lost, so this matchup is getting a lot less hype, and it's really a pick-em right now. I'll take UCF, the home team, getting the win and giving Cincinnati their second loss. Number 7, Iowa gets a safety versus Northwestern, well, you know what? This is not a bold prediction. I thought we were doing bold predictions, but it just seems like Iowa, obsessed with ball control. They've got a good punter. We know they're going to be punting from Northwestern's 40. They're going to pin it inside the 3, and they're going to get a safety because Northwestern sucks at offense. This is going to be a really low-scoring game. Just a little funny prediction there. Number 8, Arkansas State beats South Alabama as 11-point underdogs. So that line has actually gone down to 10. It keeps dropping. But yeah, I just think it's a bad matchup for South Alabama. I do understand Arkansas State is, I think, 2-6 right now. I don't think they've had their bye week, so not a good record. But just in general, you've got a South Alabama team, not a good offense. They do have a good defense, but they don't have a good offense, and they're going on the road against a team in Arkansas State that has shown the ability with James Blackman and others to be able to produce, some semi-explosive plays. The game will be close towards the end. Arkansas State might win. I have Arkansas State pulling off a semi-big upset. Number 9, Michigan is overdue, lays a beatdown on MSU. So yes, guys, Michigan 0-2 against Mel Tucker. They're due for a win. I feel like Jim Harbaugh is going to come out of the bye week throwing the football against this horrible secondary. And Michigan, we know their passing game really hasn't done much. They're mainly a running team, but they do have, some decent receivers, including Ronnie Bell. I think Harbaugh is going to try and get J.J. McCarthy some confidence against this terrible MSU secondary, and then they're just going to run the ball the entire second half and really maybe win this game like 49-14, something like that. Michigan is pissed. They've lost, the 2 straight losses to Mel Tucker, games they were both leading by double digits. They're going to want this one, and they're going to really want to lay a beatdown on MSU. Number 10, Baylor beat Texas Tech on the road. And maybe Baylor gets ranked. I know they have 3 losses, but that would be a big win. I really trust Baylor football. All the advanced analytics agree with me. Baylor is better than their record. They're a good team. Texas Tech was really impressive last week. I'll be honest, I thought they would have given up more points, but to me, it's an aberration. I think Baylor gets the job done on the road as 2.5-point underdogs in that one. Number 11, UCLA gets mad, destroys David Shaw at home. So yes, UCLA coming off that bad loss on the road at Oregon. They're coming back home. You've got Zach Charbonnet, who's absolutely broken out. You're facing a Stanford team who has had back-to-back really good defensive performances. I think they're due to give up about 44 points. I've got this game at 44-14. It feels like this UCLA team doesn't want to throw away a great start by struggling against Stanford. Chip Kelly will have his guys ready, and they will win this game by a lot. Number 12, San Diego State and Fresno State, late night game, has 17-14 written all over it. Yes, guys, there's always one game like this each week. Maybe also the San Jose State game might be really low scoring, but these two teams just simply cannot generate offense. I also like San Diego State plus the 8.5 in that matchup. Number 13, Marshall beats Coastal Carolina, and we've got a fraud alert, guys. Coastal Carolina, they're a lot worse than their record. I know they only have 1 loss. They're really not that good of a team. They are a fraudulent team. Marshall has a good defense. They will win this game at home as 2.5-point favorites. All the professionals, all the smart money is going in on Marshall right now. Marshall wins that game. Houston with a 50-burger on South Florida. South Florida is terrible. Houston finally has their mojo. They were one of my surprise dark horse under the radar preseason teams. They struggled early, but they found a rhythm, and now they're just going to start blowing teams out. They're on an absolute warpath right now, and we've got a 50-burger warning. I think Houston gets it. Also, Toledo with a 50-burger on Eastern Michigan. Toledo, really good offense. For MAC teams, 50 burgers tend to be pretty rare, but I do like the Toledo offense. I think they at least get to 40. Of course, 50 points would be a pretty bold prediction. That's why these are bold predictions. Number 16, Colorado beats Arizona State. A shocking upset because of the weather. So this is more of a funny prediction. Colorado, they did beat California, So I don't want to kill them too much, but they still are just a horrible, horrible team. They're the worst team in Power 5 still, I would say, even after that close win. But I will say Colorado does have good home field advantage, and Arizona State, it seems like they've completely given up on their season. At least that's the current vibe. The past few weeks have not been pretty. Now they're going on the road to Boulder. Not good weather, probably 20 degrees with a wind chill of -5. I could see Colorado winning that game. Personally, Missouri, South Carolina is a sneaky shootout. Yes, guys, I get a weird vibe about this game that it will be higher scoring. And guys, a lot of money right now. A lot of the smart professionals actually like Missouri to win this game or at least cover the 4-point spread. South Carolina did just get ranked, but it does make sense. South Carolina is 5-2. They're really not that good. They're due for a loss. I'm starting to think Missouri will win this game in an upset. I know Missouri just struggled against Vanderbilt. They barely beat them, but it does make sense. It all adds up. South Carolina is really not this juggernaut. So I could certainly see a Missouri upset. They are only 4-point underdogs. How about San Jose State shutting out Nevada? Guys, I love the under in the San Jose State-Nevada game. San Jose State sitting at around, I think, 26, 27-point favorites, or maybe 24-point favorites. Either way, Nevada is currently in the running for the worst team in FBS, especially after Florida International and their big win last week against Charlotte. Nevada's horrific. So, San Jose State, defensive-minded team, no-fly zone type defense. I always say that about San Jose State. They could potentially pitch a shutout against a horrible Nevada team at home. UAB hammers FAU. Maybe they get ranked. I know they have 2 losses, but this UAB team is on a warpath. They're coming on really strong. FAU has a horrible offense. UAB is a juggernaut. They're a forgotten juggernaut because they said in the preseason they might go undefeated. They lose a few games and everyone forgets about them, but they're still a good team. They will destroy FAU. Everyone is in on UAB minus the 5 in this game. Although this does remind me of UCF minus 5 at East Carolina. It does remind me of that a little bit. It does. But we're still taking UAB in that matchup. And then how about Iowa State getting their first conference win over Oklahoma? It's just so tough to predict Oklahoma games. We've seen 2 different versions of them. I will say with Dillon Gabriel, they have been pretty good. But Iowa State is overdue for a win. They're really not that bad of a team. They're just in a conference with, a lot of parity, and it's tough to win every game because there's no horrible team in the Big 12 that you can just beat up on and get an easy win. So Iowa State is at home. They're 1-point underdogs. ESPN FPI says they've got a 62% chance of a victory. There's a lot of people that back Iowa State in this matchup. Both of those teams, I believe, coming off a bye. So it just feels like Iowa State, in my opinion, is overdue for a win. So I've got them getting their first victory in that game. But guys, those are my college football week 9 bold predictions. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.